Now, in 1950, an act was passed known as the Internal Security Act, and that became a federal law, and it was passed during what was known as the McCarthy era. It was passed over President Harry Truman's veto. But the anti-communist fervor was a bipartisan fervor, and only 10 Democratic senators voted to uphold the veto. It required communist organizations to register with the United States Attorney General and establish the Subversive Activities Control Board to investigate persons suspected of engaging in subversive activities or otherwise promoting the establishment of a quote-unquote totalitarian dictatorship, fascist, or communist. Members of these groups could not become citizens and in some cases were prevented from entering or leaving the country. Citizens found in violation could lose their citizenship in 5 years. The act also contained an emergency detention statute giving the president the authority to apprehend and detain each person as to whom there is a reasonable ground to believe that such person probably will engage in or probably will conspire with others to engage in acts of espionage or sabotage. Now, a key institution in the era of the Cold War, it tightened alien exclusion and deportation laws and allowed for the detention of dangerous, disloyal, and subversive persons in times of war or internal security emergency. The Democratic-controlled Congress overrode President Harry S. Truman's veto to pass it, and President Truman called it the greatest danger to freedom of speech, press, and assembly since the Alien and Sedition laws of 1798. He also said it was a mockery of the Bill of Rights and that it was a long step towards totalitarianism. Well, that was the 1950 Internal Security Act. But after World War II, what Harry Truman is going to be dealing with, as well as the Eisenhower administration, foreign affairs played an increasingly significant role in the lives of American citizens. The United States and its allies competed with the United Soviet Socialist Republics, or the USSR, and its allies for political and economic dominance around the world. It was known as the Cold War, and this rivalry between the U.S. and the Soviet Union shaped almost every aspect of international politics, as well as many domestic concerns, until the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the dissolution of the USSR in the early 1990s, where communism no longer was the threat. And so the United States created a new threat, and that is known as Islam. But when post-war Europe divided into communist and capitalist camps, and then China's communist revolution succeeded in 1949, public opinion generally shifted to support the protection of democracy and capitalism against communist expansion. And that tension came to a head in Korea. In 1950, North Korean communist troops invaded South Korea, which was an American ally. In this, the United States found that they could extend the Bracero program because now they needed Braceros constantly for the war effort. Now, seeking to protect South Korea and to prevent the spread of communism in Asia, President Harry Truman sent General Douglas MacArthur to command the United Nations forces. Lasting 3 years, the Korean conflict was dominated by politically motivated negotiations and stalemates that delayed the armistice and cost thousands of lives. So when hostilities ceased, Chinese armies remained on their side of the North Korean border, and the North and the South was separated by a wide demilitarized zone. This demilitarized zone entered a lengthy period of tense relations that we still have to this day. Communist expansion in Eastern Europe and Korea fueled Americans' anxiety